You'd think for a species to become advanced, there would be a certain amount of intelligence required, but this is hardly the case, as science fiction is littered with incompetent and stupid examples of technologically superior beings. It's a mystery how these species could survive to become the dominant life forms of their planet, let alone develop the level of civilization required to comically bumble across the galaxy. Consider this a case study on nature's most serious mistakes. The Engineers. The final boss of the Alien series, Lord Creators of humans, the ambiguous black goo, and maybe the xenomorphs, the Engineers' legacy may seem impressive, but rest assured, the wreckage from their comedy of errors is spread across multiple film franchises. In fact, we're yet to see them actually do anything right. Creating humans and king-hitting frail old men does not count. Point 1. They can't control their weapons of mass destruction. It's suggested the Engineers created the black goo and by extension possibly the xenomorphs and a menagerie of other sexually symbolic creatures. But from what evidence we have, they seem incapable of deploying said weapons effectively, unless the desired effect was to subject themselves to mouth violation and or wipe themselves out entirely. Take the interior of their weapon ships for example. While the ships may be right up there in the morbidly depressing art stakes, they kind of lack in basic functionality. There's chaotic biomechanical sculpture everywhere, and most rooms are dark and foggy as hell. In the egg chamber, there's a laser that totally adds to the artistic merit of the room, but doesn't do much in the way of stopping people from being mouth humped. There's all sorts of little ankle traps littered around all over the place. I'd find it hard not to trip over in one of these rooms. The Engineers are continually one workplace accident away from a full-blown xenomorph/goo outbreak. Once the inevitable incident occurs, the Engineers don't seem to have much in the way of a containment plan either. In Prometheus, we watch a 2,000-year-old holographic recording of a group of engineers running away from what can be assumed to be xenomorphs or trouser snakes. And where's the best place to hide when running from a biological outbreak? In the room with the black goo that probably caused said outbreak, of course. Now, we know a few engineers survived the stumble into black goo storage, only to put themselves into hypersleep later. So we've got a bunch of elite biogenic weapon delivery men whose final biological containment protocol is to basically just go to sleep and forget about it. Even if we presume the crash ship on LV-426 in Alien was related to the incident on LV-223 in Prometheus, that doesn't exactly lessen the extent of the Engineers' failures. It just means they managed to spread the outbreak to multiple worlds. Point 2. They show us the location of their key weapons facility. Okay, so the Engineers obviously can't guarantee how their experiments in sentient life are going to work out, as evidenced by their paternal disappointment and desire to obliterate us. So why show primitive humans how to get to LV-223 at all? It's obvious their military operations are laughable, so why risk showing a potentially threatening humanoid species exactly where to find the ship designed to kill them? It's suggested in the movie that this may have actually been a warning, pointing to the source of our destruction. So the Engineers have practically gifted us our only chance to stop them. We had no frickin' idea where to look before this. I wonder if the Engineers have ever heard the saying,
"Nuke the entire site from orbit."
Because I'm pretty sure even that archaic technology could blow the shit out of their failed art exhibition. But we need not resort to such measures. Better to just sit back and wait for them to inevitably botch their one job. Point 3. Their organisational structure sucks. Is it just me, or would it be kind of important to keep track of such a dangerous weapons facility? Where has the Engineers' government been for the last 2,000 years? It seems no member of this species confers with anyone who isn't in their immediate vicinity. Sure, we don't know yet how the rest of the Engineers' population are faring, but going by their woeful track record in containing biohazards, I'd expect to find the Engineers' planet in ruins. Prometheus 2 might not be much more than a raunchy nature doco on trouser snakes and other assorted freaks flopping around in an ocean of black goo. The Battle Los Angeles Aliens. Battle Los Angeles is an advertisement for the Iraq Wars and US military superiority, masquerading as an alien invasion flick. In it, we are expected to believe that the US military are victorious over an alien species. The movie takes place in a classic Middle Eastern urban war setting in LA. Patriotic war movies usually like to keep the enemy nameless and faceless, and this film is no exception. These aliens are simply called the Battle Los Angeles aliens, or BLAH. Their name is not only a good example of how half-assed the conception of the BLAH was, but is pretty representative of the majority of dialogue in this film as well.
In the kitchen! They're not dead, they don't die. I've hit it 100 times, they don't die.
Just a dog.
Oh, just a little doggy. Come here.
Heavy shit is highly overrated.
Point 1. Their tactics and military technology are lacking. The BLAH's tactics mostly involve spraying a bunch of dumb rockets and tracer bullets all over the place in the hope that they'll hit something. These guys are like the Star Wars stormtroopers of the lesser sci-fi realm, except that BLAH expend 10 times the ammo and therefore have a way worse accuracy rating. In the film, we are told the aliens perform a
textbook military invasion.
So not only are they using our textbook, they must be using the old version of it, since we know it's best to provide air support from the get-go.
Ground force enemy only.
We also like to employ other complicated tactics, like providing armoured cover for our frontline heavy assault weapons. Having a walking missile launcher is cool, I guess, but what's not cool is when your best ground weapon can be conquered by a simple flanking manoeuvre. So anyway, the infantry and heavy weapons are no problem for an emotionally damaged group of US Marines. But where is that cowardly alien air force? Well, when the fume-spewing rust buckets finally make an appearance, a few well-aimed missiles are enough to take out the entire division of space jalopies in one go. But I guess centralizing control to the point of extreme vulnerability is a totally established alien thing. Point 2. They're engineered to be inadequate. Going by the evidence in the film, these mushroom heads are an engineered hodgepodge of biological and technological components. There seem to be different castes of BLAH: grunts, leaders, communications experts, etc. These castes, and the fact that most BLAH have blasters for arms, seems to indicate they are engineered for war. So why then is their technology and biology so inadequately prepared for such a pursuit? If you're going to go to all the effort to have guns for arms, at least make sure they're equipped with the latest homing technology. Choosing a weaponized arm is a big step. You should carefully research your options and go with the weapon that's going to be most capable of hitting something. Not only are their guns as dumb as muskets, their biology has an inherent weakness. You'd think having the advantage of designing your own biology would allow you to design some sort of decentralized nervous system, like that of an octopus. But instead, these BLAH choose to have all their most vital internal organs
To the right of where the heart would be.
so their most vulnerable little kill switch is in an area that in all probability will be the first place to take a hit. Obviously, the humans obliterate these aliens by the end of the film. So how then did these aliens lose so easily if they evolved to suit a battlefield and have technology capable of interstellar flight? The short answer is, they shouldn't have survived long enough to fight this war. Way back when the BLAH didn't have guns for arms, interstellar flight, and their tactics were presumably less advanced, if that's possible, their civilization should have met its end during wars amongst themselves. At the rate in which we see them consume water in the film, they should have died via ecological disaster as well, which brings me to the next point. Point 3. They start risky wars to get water. So let's give these aliens the benefit of the doubt. They've just been involved in some epic war on their homeworld, and invading Earth is an opportunistic, last-ditch effort to survive. They may not even be the dominant faction of their world, which would explain their abysmal setup. This movie wasn't good enough to warrant a sequel, so I guess we'll never know. But maybe we should show them where Europa or the asteroid belt is, because there is way more water in those places than on Earth. I mean, sure, there may be simple life on Europa, but go ahead and obliterate them, because you've already answered our most important existential question anyway. Or turn a blind eye to the slaughter of a few space fish. Go ahead, slam one of those water vacuums into its icy surface, and you can have every drop without ever deploying a single grunt. And I don't want to hear any crap about aliens not being able to melt ice. Water is the most abundant compound in the universe, but the Blah would rather invade the one place in our solar system with sentient life whose military is basically on par with their own. The Sky People, or humans from Avatar. While not completely alien to us, humans are indeed the alien aggressors in the locale of Pandora. James Cameron gives humanity a rap across the knuckles by portraying humans as a snivelling race of profit fiends, in a sci-fi retelling of the Disney classic Pocahontas. In Avatar, we see a possible future where humanity has not only failed to discard their selfish ways, but have somehow got much worse. Point 1. Profit is their only motivation. What sort of self-respecting invaders are motivated by profit? The Sky People have ravaged their own world for resources, and now they're desperate for that sweet unobtainium goodness under Home Tree. It's doubtful humanity could have survived if we embraced our worst behaviours to this degree. Despite being motivated by profit, the Avatar humans completely ignore the myriad of other profitable opportunities that exist on Pandora. Pandora is a lush alien world with a global neural network never seen before. There are pharmaceutical and military applications aplenty, if only they would slow down and stop to smell the roses. I'm sure the Na'vi would be happy sharing some of this bounty, but I guess the Sky People have blown any chance at long-term diplomacy. And if there is no unobtainium on Earth, how the hell did they even get to Pandora? There must be unobtainium mines elsewhere, no doubt on moons with no blue cap people at all. Instead of wastefully expending resources fighting a war, why don't the Sky People just find a rock they can mine where they don't have to commit genocide? There's simply no way Earth's current civilization could survive until 2154 if we wholeheartedly embrace the profit motive to the degree shown by the humans in Avatar. The Avatar humans are so woefully immature as a civilization, they're stuck in a feedback loop where they must expend unobtainium to get more. Sound familiar? That's right, current humans do that right now with oil. So there's proof that the Avatar humans never changed their behaviour and therefore never curbed climate change. On resource-depleted sauna Earth, civilized society would most probably cease to exist. We wouldn't be capable of discovering unobtainium out there in the cosmos, let alone be able to utilize it. At worst, these humans should be extinct. At best, they should be living a desolate existence on Earth, bunker dwelling and only coming out at night to hunt lizards and shank people for oil. Point 2. Their military are inadequate and reckless. So here we are, aggressively attacking another species, and the majority of our military assets are operational in atmosphere only. We've discovered that sentient alien life is real and want nothing more than to destroy them ASAP. But as far as spacefaring technology goes, the corporate mothership is a minnow in the field of interstellar war. We know nothing of the exopolitical landscape. For all we know, the Na'vi have an alliance with an advanced species the next system over, and we're about to get our ticket home blown out of orbit. Considering humanity is already acting so aggressively in Avatar, how about we just cut the whole dropship forest flying routine and instead deploy the drones and bunker busters from a safe distance? There's no need to deploy mech walkers with woefully inadequate shielding, or grunts and armoured singlets on the front line. Humans today deal destruction from the comfort of their video game consoles. It's no wonder these Avatar humans were beaten by a technologically inferior force. Point 3. The good Sky People are still stupid. Right, so you've decided to betray your species and leave Earth behind forever. You defeat the evil corporate Sky People in a classic beast versus machine CGI extravaganza. Don't you dare tell me you're just gonna let the survivors limp home with a bunch of unobtainium. The very stuff which will allow them to return. You need to be straight ending them right there. You better blow up that mothership and steal all that technology on the ground too. Profit loss is the only language these creatures understand. And after you've finished ruthlessly hunting down every last one of those vermin, you're going to be running drills until the Titanotheres come home. New Home Tree is going to be a biomechanical fortress before those primates even know what happened. Okay everyone, thanks for watching, that's about it for now. Let me know what you think about this format in the comments, and please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'll post up part 2 of this video as soon as possible. Peace out and thanks again. Coming up next.
We are the Borg.